Welcome to Sasquatch and Sourdough, the podcast where we embark on a journey into the depths of the unknown.
The mystery of life.
Weaving together threads of ancient scripture.
What do you mean, biblical?
Tales of high strangeness.
Tell them about the Twinkie.
Whether you're a seeker of truth,
We believe it's the heart of the house.
or simply hungry for a good story,
What about the Twinkie?
Sasquatch and Sourdough invites you to join us on a journey of discovery, wonder, and deliciousness.
They feel your methods, your theories are...
Spooky?
So grab your backpack, sharpen your senses,
Do you think I'm spooky?
and prepare to explore the sacred mysteries of our highly strange world like never before.
And that is the whole problem with aliens.
Well, welcome back to Sasquatch and Sourdough. I am your host, Christina, and I am joined by my beautiful best friend, Crystal.
Hello, everybody.
And you are you. Welcome. So today we keep changing up our studio space because it's impractical to have a studio space in your very active living home. So today
It's hard.
we are remotely recording on location at a fire.
In the backyard.
In the backyard!
Yay.
Because we need fun and we want to tell you some campfire stories. So,
Spice it up a little bit.
yeah, why not? So just a couple of housekeeping things. Thank you so much for joining us on Instagram, YouTube. Our IG is like popping off. We have like 350
Oh, that's
followers.
great.
It's crazy. Like, you guys are engaging. It's
Thank you.
awesome. We're hearing so many awesome stories. We really just want to make sure that, like, you know how to find us. So Instagram, YouTube, you can email us at sasquatchandsourdough@gmail.com. We really want to start hearing your stories.
We really want to hear your stories.
We want to hear your stories.
Tell us.
We're getting bored. As much as I love making Robert Smith memes, we're getting bored.
Yeah. It's
We
time
wanna
to hear
talk to
somebody
you.
else.
Yes. Also, I'll probably, depending upon whenever this drops, I'll probably make like a big announcement on Instagram, but we are working on a website. And we're really excited about that.
It's going to be amazing.
Yeah, the heart of this project is to just really kind of collect like a historical narrative of what you guys are seeing. People are seeing crazy stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And it's affecting people's lives. And I think we really just kind of want to be a little safe space for you to tell your story and maybe heal.
Yeah. And having the website is going to be a really good place for people to go when they have an experience and they want to see that other people have experiences too and they don't feel so alone, you know, and it's like a place where we can share and you know that you're not alone out there.
And like cross-reference,
Yeah.
like what everyone's seeing.
Yeah.
So that's pretty much all of our housekeeping things. Intern Rob is keeping the fire nice and warm. So what we wanted to dive into today, so our last couple episodes have been very hairy. We got into... Very hairy. We got into Dogman.
Very
else did we do?
hairy, very
Goatman.
scary.
Very hairy and scary. And
All
then
the man beasts.
all the
Man beasts.
manly, beastly, bulging man.
Hairy man.
Plates are from Kansas. No, I'm not going to Christmas. No.
Not
Stay here.
Christmas. Not
Stay
yet.
here.
No, we're still in Halloween Town.
No, we're still in fall.
Oh,
in
yeah, we
Maryland.
are. I guess we are.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
my house is Halloween Town.
Yes.
All of my children pulled out every Halloween decoration that we have and scattered them across my bedroom.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, so they're like, here, Mom, we're ready. Please decorate.
Then you do it.
I'm like, kids, it's, what is it, September 20th?
Yeah.
I think we're a little ahead of schedule.
No, it's everywhere. Like the Halloween decorations. I think I was just in Essex the other day, and it's just yards covered in the giant skeletons. Are, I think, everyone's favorite.
Yeah, they're very impractical though.
Mhm.
I almost talked Eric into buying one, and he said absolutely not because there's nowhere to store him.
Good point.
So I said, okay, so for Christmas, we dress him up in a Santa costume. You
That's
know,
what
for the
people
4th
do.
of July, it's going to be America. He's going to be waving a flag.
No, you could dress him up like Abraham Lincoln.
Oh, yeah. My favorite.
Oh,
My favorite man.
oh him.
He's
And
so
he's really
cute.
tall.
He's super tall.
The big.
The giant, what is it? The giant of Illinois? That
Yes.
was one of his nicknames.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Oh man, Abe Lincoln Giant.
Ooh.
Oh, remember the zombie Abe Lincolns?
I
That was
actually
a
read
big
that.
thing. Was it good?
It was ridiculous. But it was fun. It was fun. It was ridiculous, but it was fun.
Nice.
Abraham Lincoln versus zombies.
Yeah.
Or something like that. I don't know. Vampire Hunter.
Vampire Hunter. Yeah.
I think he also did zombies.
That stuff like took off.
Yeah.
Yeah. When was that? The early 2000s?
Definitely in the 2000s
Yeah.
somewhere.
Somewhere.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah.
Anyway.
So we've been talking about all the man beasts, and so naturally we went right back into it. And today I think we want to talk about some werewolves.
Yeah.
I have a really good reference. I'll put this in the description, but it's called Monsters Among Us by Linda S. Godfrey. I think most likely every resource that we get comes from Blurry Creatures.
Okay.
Yeah, that's all I listen to.
It's your favorite.
It's my fave. But so she also wrote The Real Wolfman and the American Monsters. So she kind of has this like great collection of resources in this book. But you had something
Yeah.
local that you wanted to tell us about.
Yeah, so of course I'm going to go back to Maryland because that's where I'm from. And I love all the Maryland stories because you don't realize how weird Maryland is.
Yeah.
Maryland's got some weird stuff. So last week we were talking about the Dueo.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of times when you look up werewolf sightings in Maryland, it always goes back to the Dueo. So if anybody remembers from our last episode, the Dueo is a man, wolf, dog kind of beast,
Mhm.
which also ties into, I don't know. I guess it's dog man. It wouldn't exactly be goat man, but I could see where like
Yeah.
people could get them mixed up.
Yeah.
And whatever it is, if there's a man running around Maryland that looks like a beast, some kind of beast.
Beast man.
So in Pokomoke State Forest, which is down around the eastern shore around Ocean City, Maryland, there's this huge forest there. It's filled with spirits and strange sightings. There's tales of the old tree, the hanging hole, and there's also a ghostly werewolf creature. He roams on moonlit nights and makes pacts with the devil.
Oh.
So these are all the like little
Lore.
all the little snippets about that guy. But perhaps the spookiest story surrounds the old Nazarene church, where now all that remains of the parish is an abandoned cemetery.
Oh wow.
So the story goes that after the original church was closed and boarded up, a large Bible was left on the pulpit. Every time someone tried to steal it, and many tried, they didn't get very far, for even if they managed to lift the heavy Bible and start towards the door, the Bible got heavier and heavier and heavier until the thief dropped it on the floor and ran.
That's crazy.
It's one of my favorite stories from Pokomoke State Forest.
Oh my
It's really cool.
gosh.
There's so many cool little stories like that. Like I could go on for days. But if you're interested
The
in
Eastern Shore.
yeah, and Pokomoke. So it's a river, the Pokomoke River. They actually call it the Black River because the water is like filled with these like minerals or tannins or
Mhm.
something from the soil
Mm-hmm.
that makes it pitch black.
Oh my gosh.
So there's a lot of stories about drownings in the Pokomoke River where once the person goes under the water, you can't see them. Like,
Oh,
you know how like when
wow.
you go underwater, you can kind of see and things like slowly disappear
Yeah.
to a point and then you can't see it anymore. But in this Pokomoke River, it's so black that if you happen to go under, you're instantly gone. Like you can't see the person that went under.
That's gotta be. I
It's
mean,
really creepy.
I just think about now. It's probably obviously different, like swimming in a river versus like any sort of ocean or anything. But like, if
Mhm.
you got what if you got under and you couldn't get up?
Well, that's the thing.
My
Once you
gosh.
go under these black waters, you can't decipher which way is up and which way is down and which way is left and right. So good luck if you happen to go under, because
Right.
you become disoriented and you don't know which way to swim to come back to the surface.
Do you know what that reminds me of?
What?
Do you remember Creepshow?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
The
remember
blob?
The blob.
The blob, the thing on the raft.
The thing on the raft.
That's one of my favorite stories.
That's my favorite.
I actually tell that story around the campfire when I take all my kids, not trick-or-treating, camping.
Yeah.
So I like to tell spooky stories when we go camping and scare all of the young children. And
Lovely.
that's one of my favorite stories to tell, is the thing in the water. And it's, well, I think the actual story is called The Raft.
It's the raft.
But it's a blob. And it, like, eats people.
Guys, if you don't, oh no, because I don't know, did you grow up in the 90s? We have no idea who our audience is. But we grew up in the 90s, and that, I mean, why, no, number one, why were you allowed to watch Creepshow?
Yeah.
It's terrifying. It's literally the crypt keeper coming to tell the children's stories. But the raft, again, this ties into like every thread that we've kind of pulled here.
They were somewhere where they weren't supposed to be.
Somewhere they weren't supposed to be. You weren't supposed to swim out to that raft.
Yeah.
Anyway, sorry.
That's okay. So the monster, there's this really cute thing in Pokomoke State Forest. It's called geocaching, and they do this all over the place. But in Pokomoke, it's a kayak only cache, and it's the 12th cache on the Monster Mash Trail, which is scattered all along the Pokomoke River. It begins in Snow Hill, Maryland, and it's compiled of various monsters from movies and real monsters.
That's so cute.
So local legend dictates that the Pokomoke Forest, which the river runs through, is extremely haunted. We know all that. And each one of these watertight caches is named after a different monster in the region. So it goes on to say that the 12th cache on this trail is the White Werewolf of Worcester County.
Oh, wow.
It's purportedly a werewolf spirit that haunts an unidentified church in the Pokomoke Forest. This is what I think is the old Nazarene church. Remember I said that?
Yeah.
And then there's like still like a cemetery attached to it. And there isn't much else that's really known about this werewolf rumor other than people have spotted it all around the area. And it's basically just like tales like told through family history.
Yeah.
Like grandmas sitting around telling the kids, like, don't go out there. The white werewolf's going to get you.
And that somebody saw it in the family.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. But so the definition of a werewolf obviously is a human that can shapeshift into a wolf or wolf-like creature, which is the same thing as like the goat man, the dog man, Dwayyo. Like it all kind of connects to each other.
This account comes from Monsters Among Us by Linda Godfrey, and it's called The Brunswick Wolf Shadow. And so she kind of just like took a whole bunch of accounts and put them in this really awesome book that's just, it's chock full of like witness statements, facts, all kinds of stuff. So this goes on to say, Pam and Molly aren't the only ones to have seen what look like giant deep shadows that appear two-dimensional rather than fully realized. Also like an animated cutout of a creature. That sounds absolutely terrifying.
That sounds like a multi-dimensional beast.
Right?
Like something that you're seeing through a veil.
Yes.
It's not exactly in this corporal like plane.
Yeah, so it's almost like I kind of like, in my mind, it goes to like almost like one of those like trick mirrors. You know what I mean? Like if it were standing behind you. Ooh, creepy.
Oh, I like that.
So one such encounter took place in summer 1969 in Brunswick, Ohio.
Ohio.
Surprise! When two brothers, aged 5 and 8, their 3 sisters, then a 9-year-old and a pair of 11-year-old twins, and their grandmother found terror in their backyard.
Wow.
Their relative Julie wrote me in October, so this is coming again from Monsters Among Us, in 2012, and said the entire family group saw what one aunt described as a wolf shadow walking out of the garden.
That's creepy.
The story goes they saw it walking, only it was two-dimensional. It looked like a black cardboard cutout that moved, but they could make out distinct features like a snout, pointy ears, bushy fur, and what my aunt, this is quoting, says stuck out the most, a thick arched neck similar to that of a horse. Oh my gosh.
Wow. That's different.
She said it turned to look at them, and when it did, it looked like what a piece of cardboard would look like, thin. Ew.
Yeah. Wow.
Ooh, what does that remind me of? That's like-
Two-dimensional?
yeah. So it's
Yeah.
like flat.
Yeah.
When it finished turning, it looked flat again, except they could tell it was facing them.
Oh my gosh.
They couldn't see eyes or a snout, but the ears were clearly seen, and they knew it was watching them. They all started screaming, and our grandma came out to see what was going on. She went back and got a broom. Yes.
Grandma had a broom.
And started after it with the kids running after her. That's amazing.
Don't mess with Grandma and her broom.
She's got her broom. My aunt said it then came out of the cornfield and ran towards the woods. She says it looked like a piece of paper running.
Who?
It ran with a sort of a hop on the balls of its feet, not like a human would run. It had legs similar to a dog. Canines, of course, do run on their toe pads.
Mm-hmm.
It turned back once with the same two-dimensional paper effect woods behind the tree, and it was gone. Julie, who heard the story secondhand from her aunt and stepfather, added that they estimated it had to have been 7 feet tall based on the height above the corn plant. Again. Ugh.
I think there's many more portals than we realize all over our country.
I agree.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, she has portals in there too.
Oh, that's
It's a
nice.
fascinating book. Like, definitely go buy it. Like,
Which
it's
one?
amazing.
What is it called again?
So, Monsters Among Us by Linda S. Godfrey.
Okay,
Yeah.
Godfrey.
Yep, you can
Let's
get it on
put that-
Amazon.
Okay.
It's
On my
really,
to be read list.
yes, it's very well researched.
Okay,
Yeah.
good.
Mm-hmm.
I have another story if you're ready.
Yep.
This one comes from Frederick County again in Maryland.
Frederick.
Frederick County, it's crazy. So this goes back to the DeWayo that we were talking about, Dogman, Wolfman, whatever you want to call him. But it's from a news article called Mysterious DeWayo on Loose in County. And then there's a subhead that says, don't mess with it, in
Do you have a
quotation.
ooh. Do you
Yeah.
have a date?
I don't have a date. I think I'm sorry, November 1965.
Ah,
November 1965 from a newspaper.
okay.
Okay, so it says a man named John Becker reported fending off a 6-foot-tall, black-haired creature with a bushy tail in his backyard on Fern Rock Road. The paper reported this call to the state police who investigated the claim. Sergeant Clyde B. Tucker of the local state police said as far as he knows, there's no such thing as DeWayo. There's no place in Frederick County known as Fern Rock Road.
What?
And no one by the name of John Becker can be found, according to an article in the news. Even though it was the case, hunters reported a number of DeWayo sightings after the original report. So, this guy John Becker, everybody's wondering like if he made the thing up.
Yeah.
You know, we talked about Snallygaster and how it was like purportedly made up just for like news headlines or whatever.
Yep.
But unlike the Snallygaster of years past, the witnesses who spoke about the DeWayo were unnamed in news articles. So they weren't like looking for fame or fortune.
Right.
They were coming forward and going to the news articles and they were telling reports of this thing that had been in their yard. There was one where dogs started chasing. It says, my dog started chasing something and I saw it was black, but I didn't think too much about it. Believing it was a dog or maybe a bear, claimed an unidentified hunter in an article in the news. However, after reading the newspaper article, I'm not too sure it wasn't a DeWayo.
Oh my gosh.
It trotted like a horse. I don't know what it was, but I'm going to look for it for weeks.
So that's interesting because it seems like that, like, it's part of their culture there. Like,
Yeah.
they're, like, just
All these like creepy cryptids.
all of these creepy cryptids, like in Frederick, you're just like, oh yeah, that was probably just a DeWayo.
Yeah. So this is really funny too. So right after that, in December of 65,
Mm-hmm.
the Frederick Community College organized a DeWayo hunt.
What?
Yes. But it fizzled out when not a lot of folks showed up.
No.
However, a news article stated that someone saw a pickup truck full of boys, some with helmets and waving machetes, on West 7th Street.
That's amazing.
Okay, here's another one. A Burkittsville resident,
Burkittsville.
yeah, that's Blair Witch territory,
Yes.
had an interesting theory as to the creature's origins related to the Snallygaster, another Frederick County creature that supposedly laid eggs that hatch every 20 years. The eggs should be hatching just about now, said the unnamed man in the news article, and the DeWayo could actually be a Snallygaster.
Oh my gosh.
So
No.
this is just this is just goofy stuff.
Yeah,
it's just funny.
goofy.
It's just funny and goofy.
Oh
But
my gosh.
I just think it's so funny because then there's this other woman whose child had heard so many news reports about the Dwayyo and the Snallygaster that she developed a nervous like disposition where she couldn't go outside at night, she couldn't sleep at night. She
That's
thought the
awful.
Dwayyo was like in her bedroom window and the Snallygaster was under her bed. And the mom got really irritated and like went on the news and was like, everybody needs to stop telling these stories because my kids can't sleep at night because they
Oh
think
my
there's
gosh.
monsters coming out of the woods to get them. I think we told
Yeah.
that story about the dog man.
Dog man.
The man
yeah,
that
and that
saw
man was
him
traumatized.
at Rock State Park and he was
Yes.
traumatized.
Yeah.
Mhm.
The children are terrified.
Yeah.
So it's kind of, well, and I think Frederick is just making stuff up at this point.
I think it's just funny because it turns into like one of those like horde mentalities with the boys and the helmets and the machetes.
Yeah.
It's like now we're hunting Frankenstein's monster.
Right.
You know?
We need a good mob.
Exactly. The local mob.
Yes. Call me when you need a gypsy curse because I'm Hungarian.
Yeah. But obviously, people were seeing some kind of bipedal
Yes.
creature,
Yeah.
but I guess it gets out of hand. It
Right.
reaches a fever pitch,
Right.
and now everyone has a story. I don't know.
Or they're just kind of, yeah.
So you kind of have to look at it with a skeptical eye.
It's also hard when you have things recorded and then you're kind of retelling it. I think it's best when you can actually hear the people,
Oh yeah, definitely.
you know, like telling it in their own voice.
Definitely.
That's always really, really cool. But this is back again from Monsters Among Us, and this is the encounter. So it's really so well reported. She has it kind of mapped out to like the case summary, the reported creature, location, date, conditions, etc. This is like kind of exactly how we are sort of laying out the website, like when you are able to like go on there and put in your own story. So this is the Pennsylvania glow stick dog man.
Whoa.
Yes. How 90s of you.
Glow sticks.
So apparently the reported creature is a large glowing wolf-like creature. And this was reported Mountainside Highway in northern Pennsylvania, 1994.
Oh.
The condition, so it says nighttime light provided by vehicle headlights and the creature itself. Associated phenomenon, blue moving light, unknown whether light at first seen was emitted from the creature or something else. And so apparently it was extremely large creature, ran easily on hind legs, emitted a bluish colored glow from entire body. The witnesses were Mike and Mrs. Moran, first name held by request, husband and wife. And then the environmental factors were a mountainous area with great access to uninhabited wooded areas located probably only 60 to 100 miles directly north of, this is Harrisburg. 2015 report of an upright wolfman. Moon and solar flare phases unknown. Oh, so she like even gets into that.
Oh, that's really cool.
Yeah. So he said, let me go back to his actual account. Let me see here. I looked up into the trees because I saw a light that appeared to be coming down the hill fast toward the road in a kind of bobbing motion. I thought maybe it was someone on a four-wheeler, but that didn't seem right since it looked like a dangerous time and place to be on one. I was worried about possibly crashing into the thing, and I couldn't imagine what it could be. My best guess was an ATV. Okay, that kind of, I can see that.
Yeah.
I remember wondering if the locals were out having a torchlight procession in the forest. Some way that he was moving in the trees brought that to mind. Oh, so it was probably like moving like back and forth. I was giving the light a lot of attention while keeping an eye on the road. Moran also worried due to the structure of the highway and that particular point. It looked as if the road had been cut into the hill because there was a 6 to 8 foot vertical face running along the side of the road. Ew.
Yeah.
Like a little cliff.
Yeah.
I recall thinking that if the light was an ATV, it came down to the road
and it came down to the road, I would have a real problem. When the light actually did begin to come down the hill toward the road, I got excited because I was about to see what the heck it was. But I was also worried about possibly seeing an ATV crash. So he's thinking they're like crashing into each other.
Yeah,
Oh my gosh.
okay.
So the light reached the road about 25 yards or so in front of my car. And more dogs are barking.
It's the night for the dogs. The night for the beasts.
The beast. the beast of Baltimore. I couldn't believe this thing had just come down the hill out of the trees right in front of my face. The thing kept going across the road as I drove toward it. Well, it wasn't a four-wheeler. It was a powerfully built canine, being running on two legs, about 7 or 8 feet tall. That's a common thread.
Yep.
About 300 pounds. That appeared to have a
300
glow
pounds
to it.
Holy moly!
Its color was a bluish, whitish, light gray.
That was like the white werewolf of Pokomoke.
This is crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Why is this
And
thing
where is
glowing?
this?
This is in Harrisburg.
Okay, that's
1994.
Right.
I couldn't tell if it had fur, but if it did, it would have been short and all the same length. I don't recall a mane or a tail. It gave the impression of being male, but there was no overt clues. The creature bounded across the road in only 3 steps, said Moran, and continued on its way on the other side of the highway, disappearing into the forest of the sides downward slope. Oh my gosh.
Wow.
That's wild.
That was wild.
Yeah. Okay, guys, definitely go buy this book because it's filled with stories like this.
It's filled with great stories.
What a great encounter.
And like, you have to do a lot of research to compile all of those great stories.
Yeah.
Because even just the little bit of research I did to try to find werewolf sightings in Maryland, like I didn't really come up with much.
Right.
You know? Like I found DeWeo sightings and dogman sightings and goatman sightings. There's really nothing
No.
on werewolves.
But again, I really think that it is just people not
being able to identify.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
Like,
they could
what
all
was it?
kind of be one in the same almost.
Yeah.
Oh, my favorite one though was that 2D flat creature
That's
that you were. That
crazy.
was the creepiest one. That's
Ew.
the creepiest one I've ever heard.
I mean,
That's a good one.
I don't want to be skeptical. I want to believe everyone's story, but part of me is like,
I always have a skeptical eye.
did Pop Pop like have a
But that
cardboard
creeped me out.
cut-
Oh yeah, was Pop Up running around the corner like
in the cornfield?
That's funny.
Pop Pop's chasing it. Oh my gosh. And Grandma had her broom. Yes, that's the best.
Here comes Grandma with a broom. Everybody look out.
Oh my
She's
goodness.
gonna get you.
I'm gonna get you. All right, yeah. So that was actually, we were trying to do more broad, but we ended up having some really good werewolf accounts.
Yeah. I think just the funny thing about the Frederick County incidents was that so many people reported things that the state police department got just kind of furious.
And like overwhelmed.
They were like, "This is ridiculous. What are you people doing?"
What is wrong with
It was mom mentality.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because it gets in your mind, and then you're like, I see the dog man and
Everywhere.
everywhere. So they thought it was Irish wolfhounds.
No, they thought it was Dogman or DeWeo, but it was actually a man that lived in the area that bred Irish wolfhounds.
Amazing.
So that is like half of the sightings that were reported were actually Irish wolfhounds.
Can you imagine? All right, if you're like dad or you or a state trooper, like I need to know what is going on in Frederick. What's happening?
Are you guys like drinking the Kool-Aid? Like what's
Is it the
going on?
altitude?
Can we hear some stories from Frederick County people?
What is going on up
It's
there?
wild up there.
Yeah. Calm down.
It's wild.
It's just wild.
It's wild and
Werewolf in London.
woolly. Wild and woolly.
Wild and woolly London. Oh my gosh. No, that's back to Christmas. Stop it.
Oh, is it? Oh,
Scrooged.
geez. Oh, yeah, that's
See?
right. Mm-hmm.
It's just one long script. I think that's, yeah. I think that was a good little fireside chat. I hope this turns out. It would be fantastic. We're still working on our audio. We're getting it together.
Yeah.
But yeah,
It's a little different.
It's different, but
Hopefully it turns out.
yeah, we'll see.
I may be moving around a lot.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. Whatever, we'll just redo it. We've got some guests lined up. We're really excited about that. We really want to hear your stories. Look out for the website launch. That's going to be awesome. I'll put all that stuff on Instagram. But yeah, just keep commenting and getting in touch with us and making friends with us. And hopefully you can come on and share your story.
Tell your stories.
Tell your stories. So yeah, until next time, bye.
Bye.
You have been listening to Sasquatch and Sourdough. I'm Christina, and thank you so much for tuning in. Sasquatch and Sourdough is so much more than just a podcast. We're a community of kindred spirits, united by our curiosity and fascination with the extraordinary. And we want to bring you into the conversation. So whether you've had a brush with the unexplainable, seen something that you can't quite wrap your head around, this is your space. We invite you to join us as we break bread and break down the barriers between the known and the unknown. If you want to share your story, you can email us at sasquatchandsourdough@gmail.com or send us a DM on Instagram. Until next time, remember, the truth is out there, God is with you, and everyone always ends up in the kitchen.